Hello and welcome to Records Rebuilds, and I've been meaning to make this episode for a little while, and that's because I've been hearing a lot of people talking about how hard it is to fix computer components on newer vehicles. Like one of my favorite channels, Hoovie's Garage, has been saying a lot lately that we won't be able to fix the current gen or the last generation of cars because it's just too complex with the computers. And maybe that's a little bit true, but I really think that it's just a different type of expertise that's required. And I'll tell you why in just a second. But my garage door opener broke, and it was $50 for a new one, and I was able to fix it for only 50 cents. So take a look at how I did that. It's not harder, it's just a different type of work. You have to know how to work on circuit boards, and I think that's really what the future holds for the classic car collector and the next generation when all these computer chips start to go bad. So take a look, guys. I think you'll enjoy it. Okay, so this is my garage door opener. It is a LiftMaster. I got it about 7 years ago, and I will show you what it was doing just the other day. Alright, so you can see nobody here is touching the garage door opener, but it is blinking. And we are having a solar flare right now. But this just keeps happening all by itself. So that was pretty crazy, and after all that it finally just quit working entirely. So I took it apart, as you should always do. And basically it's got this little flap of fabric on the back side here, and that pulls up, and when that pulls up you take these two screws off here and this thing pulls out. If you're looking at it from the front side, it looks like that. And so whenever you see this happen, you take a look around these things and you see, I was looking for capacitors because in a lot of the older stuff, capacitors have a shelf life of about 20 years or so, and so after they start to go bad, a lot of times you just need to replace all the capacitors on a board, like on a an 80s or 90s model Corvette, and that will fix everything. Because when you look at this thing, all this is silicon. The green stuff is silicon, and within that are little copper channels, right? So the copper channels can't very well move, right? So it's hard for them to be damaged or short out unless the actual green silicon is damaged. So usually it's going to be one of these little components on here, and these are actually pretty standardized components that can easily be unsoldered and then resoldered. And quite often you can fix a whole computer board like this by just replacing something easy. Now, hopefully you've already seen right there, I hope you can get a good view of this, but this is a resistor right here. And on this end, it's burnt. The GoPro just doesn't quite have the zoom I'm looking for there, but hopefully you can see that black on one side there. So it's really easy to see what's wrong with this board. Something about that resistor went bad. So we're going to pull that resistor, put a new one in, and hopefully that will fix our problem. Alright, so how do you know the right resistor to buy? That intimidated me for a really long time, but it's the colors on here. So it's this one is yellow band, followed by purple band, followed by brown band, followed by silver band. And if you put those into a computer, it'll tell you it's like 470, I don't know what the unit says, maybe it's ohms, but it's 470, and then the silver tells you plus or minus 10%. And so you can actually use different resistor color combos to tell you a different, like it can let you put a resistor that's close in there. But in this case, Amazon had these guys here. They were also yellow, purple, brown, silver, so they should work just great. And these were 50 cents each, so I did pay $5 for all of them. But still, a replacement door opener is like $50, so I do feel bad that I paid $5, but now I've got a whole bunch of extras for the next time something like this happens. Alright, so I'm sorry I didn't get great film of this because I wasn't paying attention. I just jumped right in and I forgot to film for you guys. But basically, this is a desoldering iron, and it's got suction on it. So you push this plunger down with your hand, and when you hit the button, it sucks. So the end of it is plenty hot, just like a soldering iron. And you just put it on the component you're wanting to remove, like that. And then you press the button. And I hope you guys can see it. I'll put a picture in. But it sucks the solder right out of the joint there. So then, after you've got all the solder out of this side, you just take some very fine needle nose pliers and pull that bad resistor out, just like that. So we just took one of the resistors from our pack here, bent it so it would go through these holes here, and then bent them over like this, and now I can put little dabs of solder on there to keep it in position. Alright, so then we're just going to use our soldering iron here to drip a little drip right where we want it. Fudge. And of course I've got to get the excess broken off here. You can do that by just wiggling it back and forth till it breaks, or you can snip them off with something like this. Alright, so I hope you can see it, but we've got those snipped off and we made sure those wires aren't touching anything else, and we're ready to reassemble. So we will put this right back on here like this, and then it goes. Well, I guess we'll probably put the rubber in first. Just like that. And then this will go, oh that's right, I forget it has to go this end. This end has to go down first. And it just clicks in right like that. And then this will have to be reattached there because I just accidentally broke it off. I wish I hadn't done that. Oh well. And then we're just gonna put it back up on the door and see if it works. So then we've got these spots on the back conveniently labeled, let's see, red and white. And we've got a red and a white connector here. And we're just gonna connect those wires and hang it on the wall. Dang it, I missed it. But basically when you first hook it up, the red light and the yellow light are going to be blinking indefinitely, not indefinitely, for 30 seconds or so while the thing charges up to get to where it's got enough power to operate. And then it should work. And it does. It works as soon as we push that button. And I am super happy, guys. I'm not dumb enough to pretend that every single computer in every car is just this simple. But it still is just wires and circuits, right? It's really complex wires and circuits, but it still is just electricity flowing through something. And if it's not working, it's because there's actually something broken inside of it. It's not like this whole module is broken. There is one resistor or one capacitor or one thing broken in here, and it can be replaced with one that is easily interchangeable. It can be really tough to troubleshoot sometimes. This was obviously very, very easy. Just look for the burnt spot, pull it out, and put a new one in. But really, cars are like that too. And so there's not a car out there that we can't keep running as long as we want to if we're willing to put in the effort. It's just that we've got to learn new skills in order to be able to do that.